George Springer finally gets off the schneid in a Blue Jays win. Messi's assault continues on North American football. The Vancouver Whitecaps opened up the Velcro wallet once again. And it's Thursday, so role play is back. This is the Homestand Show, and it starts right now. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Homestand Show live on the Homestand YouTube channel. Justin Pooney, James Sharman, Sean McCormick, and Sarah Peraria all here today. Noor Zainab will also be joining the show later on because it is Thursday, which means Ultimatum Roleplay is back. But first, please make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all of our social channels. We appreciate all the support and hate that you give us. Guys, not a lot of hate today because the Blue Jays finally won.
That's nice.
George Springer finally got a hit, but we got to start off the show with a little bit of haterade because I know there's a lot of Maple Leaf fans that still have a lot of hate and a lot of disgust and disdain for one Kyle Dubas, who apparently today appoints himself the general manager of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Of course, he left the Leafs after he said, I'm not going to work anywhere else but Toronto, and then 10 days later became the president of hockey operations with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and today he's now the GM, which I feel was all a ploy to have all the power in the world, and he now runs the Pittsburgh Penguins. Quick thoughts from yourself, Sean and James, on not so surprising move by Kyle Dubas.
Yeah, I don't know where the hate's coming from. I never hated Kyle Dubas for leaving the Leafs like he did. I thought maybe it was about time that he left. I think that maybe the cap situation is a little muddled because of Kyle Dubas, but he gave the Leafs every opportunity to win while he was here. It was just the players didn't perform up to expectations, not winning in the playoffs. So no hate for Kyle Dubas. I mean, in this move I saw coming a million miles away. Oh, wait, no, from a mile away. I guess it's at the closer you get would be the way to.
That's a good question, actually.
Yeah. I think it's the closer you're seeing
country mile.
Do you see it further away and that makes it more obvious? I guess that's how it works, right? Anyways,
it's a great point to start discussing, I think, Sean.
I think, let's just drop the rest of the show and then just talk about
it. Doesn't
this
surprise
saying.
you, is what you're saying.
Yes,
the move
it didn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, I mean, going back to what Sean was saying there, he was fired by the Leafs, right, in the end. So I know he may have said that he had no intention of going anywhere else and walking away. He was fired by them, so then it's in his rights to go somewhere else. Am I surprised by this? No, but I want to think about the situation here, right? Because he obviously must have interviewed many candidates or tried to get Brandon Pridham from the Leafs.
Did he, though? Did he interview
Well, I don't know, but I'm hoping he did. Because I'm hoping what happened was that he interviewed all these very well-versed executives who probably all do a good job, and then looked in the mirror and said, you know what, Kyle? You're just too good for this role. Way better than those guys.
Look at yourself in the job. Talk about yourself in the third
Did he
person.
shake his own hand? Did he negotiate? Because, I mean, listen, if Kyle Dubas isn't a great negotiator. He gives players what they want. Did he give himself what he wanted?
And now is he going to travel with the team again?
Oh, he'll definitely be.
which
After
is
the
one of
last
the
playoffs,
probably.
he'll definitely be in the press box every time.
Which is one of the reasons why he was upset with Toronto, right? He said, my family and I, we can't be doing this all the time now. And I need to focus on my family. And I don't know, maybe he's putting himself in the same position he was in.
He's got more jobs now than before.
Yeah, that's true. He's got
And more power and more
should be
responsibility. And good luck, Kyle.
He's got more stuff on his plate. Well, also the Jays have a whole lot of stuff on their plate because they're in the middle of a big wild card chase. They finally beat an American League East opponent, beating the Baltimore Orioles last night. Your boy, George Springer, finally got a hit.
Why is he Sean's boy?
I don't know.
I like George Springer.
I just
actually.
equate anything with the. I equate anything with the
wrong.
Blue Jays and that to Sean.
Yeah.
So he did go. He got a hit, drove in a run as well. The celebrations were kind of like the U.S. women's national team when they drew earlier in the week, and they were very happy. And George Springer looked like he won the World Series after that hit. Sean, quickly though,
it was a sarcastic celebration.
No, he was almost.
I'm sure he was
tears of
happy.
joy.
He was one for his last 50.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised there wasn't outrage by the fans because he was celebrating so much.
It was fake, man.
Okay. Anyway,
It was fake.
so the Jays win. Springer gets a hit. Is this now the turn of something good for Springer?
I mean, you'd like to see a little bit more before you can say that. I think he had a few loud outs the last few games. It's not like he's striking out all the time. He's putting the ball in play. Just a lot of weak contact. So I'm not ready to say he's turning it around. He'll still bat 5th or 6th in this lineup. Last night he batted 4th. First pitch in about 1 minute time. Happening at the Rogers Center.
Thank you for doing my job for me there. Yes, the Blue Jays start off right now against the Baltimore Orioles live at 3:07 p.m.
Oh, you mean we can't break down more Blue Jay stats?
No, because
Thank God, James. Let's get it along.
I know you're antsy. I just wanted to get all of that stuff out of the way because I know what you were doing last night, Sarah Pararia.
Oh, very late too.
You were watching Inter Miami win
was.
3-1 against Orlando FC. And once again, Mr. Messi continues to just make North American football look like a joke as he scored 2 more goals. That's now 5 goals in 3 matches. Just how dominant was he last night, and how much of a spectacle was that last night?
He's just inevitable, isn't he? Like, you just know it's going to happen. But the thing is with these kind of players like Messi and Busquets, it's not even just about them. It's the way they can elevate the other players around them. Look at Robert Taylor. Who was Robert Taylor before Messi came along? Those passes to Messi were critical. They were fantastic. And Martinez in the front as well. Great game. I don't know. I feel like they are able to bring out the best out of these other players because, I mean, like, the pressure's obviously on them as well to try and play alongside 2 greats. But, I mean, they're able to teach them so much. They're able to learn. And so, I mean, this for Miami is just so good for the whole team. But, yeah, I mean, James, 7 minutes in, Messi with the goal. Happy days all around.
Messi was plus 330 to score 2 or more goals.
We talked about it yesterday on the show. We should have taken that.
Should have taken it, absolutely. Because those odds will start coming down now.
I was going to say, what do you think the next...
expect it, right?
Yeah.
And what I found amusing was Orlando, who's a decent team, right? And Miami's big rivals. They try to get at Messi physically. But have they not watched teams against Messi for the last 15 years?
This guy's,
It doesn't work. If you try and go at him physically, he gets pissed off.
He was shoving them right back, though, and I was like, good
tough.
for you, though, because they're going, like, clipping his ankles and stuff, and I'm like, the one thing you don't want to do is piss this guy off, because guess what he'll do? He'll fucking score on you.
It just felt to me like they got this coach who thought, man, he's got the best player in the world. How do we stop him? Let's be physical and nasty and try and intimidate him. Like, every team has tried this for 15 years, and they failed, both internationally and domestically. You don't do it. You can't really contain Leo Messi. You try and contain the people around him. That's what you try and do.
I want to get your guys' thoughts on this because I kind of enjoy this Leagues Cup action. Like it's not great soccer, but it's decent to watch rather than the MLS regular season. I don't know about you guys, but I've been kind of keeping an eye on it as well. Maybe it's because of the teams from Mexico.
Are you watching any of the other games?
Yeah, Whitecaps are playing Tigres on Friday.
Okay, so you're watching that. See, I'm not going to speak on that because I'm only watching Inter Miami, so I can't actually tell you.
I thought you'd be like really.
Weren't you going to go to TFC versus Atlas?
Decided to spend my evening doing anything else. Yikes.
But look, so Messi's now been here for 3 matches. It's been a spectacle, everything. You see all the celebrities at these games, and all these American celebrities now tuning into. Messi's become must-see TV across North America. We saw that with David Beckham. I don't know if it's to this level.
It wasn't.
It's not. So that's what my question was. How does it compare to when Becks first came over? Is it just because we're in a different era of media now? Or is it
I
just
think the hype was very similar back then. When Beckham came, that was massive global news. And of course, he didn't have the same impact as Messi because how could he? Different kind of player, number one. Secondly, not as good as Messi. But it was enormous hoopla around Beckham because at the time he was one of the most famous people in the world.
Yeah.
Because of his, married a pop star, pretty good footballer, handsome guy, massive brand, right? It was enormous when he came to North America. Messi's going to take that and go with it and go beyond it. But right now, I mean, I remember 2007, the same year TFC was born, that same season. And like every single media outlet was talking about David Beckham. It was huge.
And he was one of the first ones, like major stars in soccer to come and play.
He was the
MLS,
first in
right?
MLS. It was called the Beckham rule. The designated player rule was because of Beckham.
Yeah,
So they could afford to pay these guys.
And what I'm seeing from Messi right now is like I'll liken it to, I've been watching the Quarterback Netflix series and what you guys were talking about a few seconds ago about how you don't want to piss off Messi. Well, Patrick Mahomes goes out of his way to compliment defensive players, hoping that they'll take it easy on him when they're like shoving him out of bounds or tackling him. Be like, hey, good rush. Hey, way to go. Like, you got me there. Like, just like really trying to like be like, hey, if I'm nice to them, maybe they won't be as mean to me. Maybe they'll let up a little bit. And just seeing like some of those like captain type instincts from Messi. There's a couple instances yesterday where Busquets was tackled and Messi comes over and gets in the way, and he's like absolutely not. You're not messing with one of my players and friends in Busquets. And then he gave the penalty kick too to Martinez, didn't he?
Yeah.
Which
No,
I mean,
massive.
that's good from a captain's point of view, but he sort of had to have known that Martinez was going to score. I did a little digging. Martinez is 20 for 23 in his
Sean with the
lifetime.
stats.
What is this?
Sean with the
This is
stats
amazing.
on.
No,
I
but
love
it's
that.
true. But Messi's always been that kind of
He's
player.
a team first guy.
Yeah,
No, he always-
Maybe
he
the
would
most
give-
selfless.
Yeah, he
megastar
would
we've
always
ever seen,
give at
actually.
Barcelona like Luis Suarez or Neymar and Fati, like whoever it was. He is that guy because he wants his teammates to get that confidence too. So that's exactly what he did with Martinez. He knows this guy's going to score a penalty.
And
He
actually,
got-
Messi's not the greatest at penalties in fairness either.
no, he's gotten much better, but there was a bad time.
I believe he's at like 78% in his career.
Is that what?
Yeah.
But this time next year, I guarantee you, Messi's on spot kicks.
Yeah. That make,
Bet he is.
It's
Messi.
would make sense to me
Well-
for sure. I want Suarez to come over. I want them to have like an enforcer. I want them to have somebody
I'd
like to
love-
chomp down.
Add
Yeah,
some
yeah. Oh,
bite to the
MLS
team.
is aggressive. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Did
Like-
you guys see what the Orlando FC manager said after the game? He said tonight was a circus, and then he said there was a second yellow on Messi
Which should
that
have been
wasn't given, and I don't care if he's Messi. So let me ask you guys this. Okay, actually, I'm not even asking, but just go for it.
Just ask.
go.
No.
just
First
ask
of all,
Cisco.
sure, Messi got really, really pissed off because he was getting fouled left, right, and center, and the ref wasn't calling anything against the opposition. There was an
So
obvious
so you
handball.
condone what he did then.
There was an obvious but if the ref's not calling
right,
it on
don't make it
anyone
wrong.
else, no, but the ref's not calling it on him. So Messi's like, if this guy's not gonna call anything, I'm gonna go.
Messi could go on a rampage with a
I don't
freaking
think that's
machine
true.
gun.
I,
Whoa.
and
James,
Zero
I don't
defender.
think that's true. That's
No,
not true.
no.
The
He
ref
was-
wasn't calling anything. There were handballs too that were not given. Tata Martino was freaking out within 15 minutes of the game. Like the ref could have done a much better job. So I mean, this guy can say what he wants, but his team had several fouls
So
as
I
well.
was gonna say, is now all this hoopla and all this notoriety around Messi? Is it a circus, or is it rightful attention now? Is that he's bringing along with him, or could it be considered a
Both.
circus? Is it a circus?
It's a law. I don't know. The whole like Hollywood aspect of it is super strange, I think, for football, because in like Europe, it's not like that.
No.
You know what I mean? Even in South America, it's not like they keep cutting to the fans and the super. They're like, look who's here. It's like an NBA game
Yeah,
almost.
that's what it
They
is.
keep cutting
It's a
to
bit
his
much.
wife and his kids, and I'm like, that would never happen at a Barcelona game, at a Manchester United, Liverpool. It's not like that. There's a bit more like, honestly, I want to say class and respect in like football overseas, whereas here it's very much like
It's clickbait. It's
Hollywood.
Well,
clickbaity,
it's also
right?
the great unknown. Is this nice new shiny object that
Right.
people don't quite understand just yet, and they're going to just like really.
it's American. That's what
exactly.
it is.
I think for like purists like yourselves, it's different because when you watch like the NFL or the NBA or NHL, there's always celebrity cameras. You see at football games or basketball games. Friggin' the Raptors games, they'll have to have a shout out and a round of applause for celebrities that are at the game,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what North American sports has. North American sports, it's about the spectacle around the game just as much as what's actually on the field. Whereas
Well,
in Europe, it's what's on the field. Is what
Also, in North American sports, there's like 3 or 4 periods or quarters.
Yes.
Right, and there's time to break. Have this circus appeal between the actual plays. Whereas in European sports, you got these 45-minute halves or 40-minute halves in rugby, whatever it is, or cricket, God forbid. Right, they're much longer. There's less opportunity to sell these personal brands of Jay-Z's in the front row. Well, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Who cares? Although Man City will show Noel Gallagher whenever they can.
But yeah, look, it's been exciting. I've definitely made sure I've been watching every game, but I make sure every night I'll see the highlights, see what Messi's up to, and all of that. Another team in the MLS that's making some noise. The Vancouver Whitecaps open up the wallet once again. Of course, they brought in Richie Laryea off loan, and now they're bringing another Canadian international in Sam Adekugbe. He's actually returning. He was a member of the Whitecaps before, went through their homegrown system and stuff like that. He's coming back over from Turkey on a contract through 2026 through 2027. Mr. James Sharman, how surprised are you that the notoriously cheap and frugal Vancouver Whitecaps are finally using that Alphonso Davies money that they got from Bayern Munich so many years later?
Well, I mean, they just trade Julian Gressel last
did.
week, right? And Laryea fits in that position beautifully, right? He's a really good player, Gressel, but they couldn't re-sign him. Couldn't afford to re-sign him, right?
Exactly.
So, but I think it's great moves. Adekugbe is a really fun player to watch. For a Canadian football fan, you watch Vancouver now because these are two of the most exciting players playing left
And they both have
right.
bite.
Yeah, they both have real bite, absolutely, yeah. So I think for Sam Adekugbe, he's been linked with some big clubs in Europe for a while now. I'm a bit surprised he's come back to MLS. I would love to see him go to a bigger league in Europe because he's that good. Same with Richard Laryea as well, actually, quite frankly. But yeah, good for Vancouver. Good signings, really good signings.
So I want to ask you this. Do you think the moves for Laryea and Adekugbe coming back to Canada has anything to do with the World Cup, being in Vancouver, Toronto in 2026?
For sure. No, I think it does. A lot of them, it's like easier to climatize, right? If they're already playing here, they're used to it, and they're playing at stadiums. Like that's BC places where they're going to be playing.
That's correct.
But in the World Cup as well.
Yes.
So it's like that. He's so comfortable there. I will say, I think after the World Cup, this Canadian men's team has fallen off a little bit. We know the talent on this team, but I am wondering if that has to do with the fact that they weren't able to get a spot in a European side. I think it does, because I think these guys are really talented too, but Canada Soccer has had such a hit with that World Cup and the way they performed. They didn't perform well, right? We talked about this. It's not news, but I do wonder if that affected them getting any spots overseas, because I do think James is right. Those are two of the really quality guys.
Exactly. I think it's interesting to see that with the World Cup, again, it's good for like the Whitecaps and Canadian soccer to have these guys that are on the national team, playing in Canada to help promote the game and grow the hype for the World Cup. But from a football aspect of it, John Herman said it a bunch of times, you want our players playing in a high tier leagues, right? Tier 1 leagues. And that hasn't happened yet. I think Kyle Laryea is still, he moved over to Mallorca. He's still in,
he's gonna
La
go to
Liga.
Mallorca. And
then they got Jonathan David, who might be making a move to the Prem sometime soon. Keeps on getting reported. And Davies, Buchanan. But after that, there's...
I mean, Buchanan's still in Belgium, right?
He has that move to Inter. It really hasn't
Porto.
happened yet. Estacchio's still with Porto. But, it's something that needs to change in the next couple of years if they want to take that next step to really compete, because that's what we keep on hearing. They want to compete in 2026. They want to be there in 2026 to actually win a game, not just score a goal.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I do think it's a regression, but as I said, I think Canada Soccer has kind of been going a little bit in that direction right now. But listen, if it's going to help him climatize and adjust to, an upcoming World Cup, fine. But yeah.
Bear in mind with Sam, I mean, he was right there during the earthquake in Turkey as well, right? And that really affected him, as it did a lot of people, obviously. So you wonder if he got drawn back to where his family is.
Safety of Canada.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly.
And
Could well be that.
He's been a guy that knows the Vancouver Whitecaps system. He's went through their development program and stuff like that. We're talking about the 2026 World Cup. There's actually a World Cup going on right now, the Women's World Cup. Another day, shocking exit for one of the giants in international football. Germany drew 1-1 to South Korea, and then Morocco and now Colombia are advancing from Group H. Guys, we were shocked by Brazil, but Germany was one of the big favorites as well, Sarah. What did you see from this German side that they just weren't able to live up to expectations this World Cup?
It's strange because they came out swinging, and I thought they were really going to do well. Alexandra Popp, actually one of my top goal scorers of the World Cup.
She still might be, by the way.
Yeah, crazy. But I don't know. I think it's a matter of just... It seems like I've seen different teams in each match that they're playing. You know what I mean? The first game maybe amazing, second not so much, third game they're bottling it. It's almost like, I don't know if it's a fitness, issue. I don't know if it's that they're judging these other teams incorrectly, and they're maybe like that big ego is coming in. But Morocco going through with 6 points, and so is Colombia. Has any team gone through on 9 points actually?
Sweden did.
Sweden?
Yeah.
Sweden,
Who now get to face
England,
the U.S.
Japan, and that's it. 4 teams have gone through on 9 points. So clearly this is a World Cup of kind of just getting by with what you can. Like, I don't know. It's kind of...
I think you're right. I think arrogance could play a big part in this. You know, up until now, the top 10 have had their way in most of these tournaments, right? They really have. And now you've seen the Colombias and the Moroccos investing a bit of money in those programs. And the world's getting a lot smaller. Simple as that.
Yeah.
We talk about all the time in the NFL, the NHL, baseball, the NBA, about parity. And now we're finally seeing it here in the Women's World Cup where they have the expanded field. And you're seeing now, look, we have a round of 16 matchup between Colombia and Jamaica next Tuesday at 4 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yeah.
Like, who would have thought that? We talked about the Jamaican story yesterday about how great that is. But I just think, again, Sarah, you can attest to this, seeing these different nations that were never truly global powers now rise above teams like Germany and Brazil. That's why I said the best for last. Canada, right? It's good to see.
It's tough to say that they've risen above them. Obviously, they're advancing, and some of those other teams are not. But I mean, Canada to a lesser extent, but Germany was dominant. Holding a lot of the possession, shots. Like, they just had a couple of lapses that really cost them. Like, they gave South Korea so much space on that early goal.
But it's because they didn't dominate in the first 2 games. I think they won the first game, and the second game, did they win? No, I don't think
No.
so.
They
So
lost to
that's why.
Colombia.
So it's like you go into that. The same thing happened with Brazil. You draw Jamaica, and you don't go through because of what happened in the previous games.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly think because it's the first time we've seen 32 teams also in this World Cup, we are giving these other teams, these lesser-known teams, a chance to shine. And honestly, let's go for it. I'm
No
happy.
pressure, right, for them. Nothing to lose. I mean,
Yeah.
Nigeria's 40th in the world. Jamaica's number 43. South Africa 54th in the world.
Isn't Morocco like
And they're all getting
72?
Germany number 2, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
Yeah,
It's the changing guard, I think, in women's soccer. And obviously, Germany will be back. They invest the money.
Yeah.
The States had a rough group phase. They're probably still going to win this tournament.
Yeah.
But, man, the next World Cup, you can be a lot more concerned faces because the world's got a lot smaller.
That was my next question. Now that we've seen Brazil, the likes of Brazil and Germany and Canada fall, who are the favorites? Is it still the U.S. to win this? Or would you still...
Well, let's remember that the U.S., England, and Spain are all still in there. Hosts Australia as well, France. Honestly, there are some big teams still here.
Well, let's look at the knockout stage.
Yeah,
Switzerland,
the board
Spain,
right here.
Japan, Norway, Netherlands, South Africa, Sweden, States would be really interesting. You mentioned that. England, Nigeria concerns a lot of English fans. Australia, Denmark's intriguing. Colombia, Jamaica, France, Morocco. Like, France have not been good this tournament so far, really. They've scored some goals, but Morocco, as we saw in the Men's World Cup, very much a nation on the rise there. So I wouldn't say it's wide open. I think the Americans are at plus 300 to win it still. England's at plus 450 last I saw, second favourites. You don't look at the group phase. You get through the group phase, and then you worry about it. So often we see teams struggle in those early games, and then they find it's about peaking at the right time, building momentum, right? And I think you're going to see that from the top teams. But still, at this point, dare I say it's been the best World Cup ever?
Yeah.
I think it might well be, right?
That's
With
so
the narrative, the
exciting.
storylines, great goals, great games,
upsets,
shocks, It's had it
storylines,
all so far.
great
The fact
careers
that it's
coming
in
to an
Australia,
end.
and we're watching...
It's a big problem because, sorry, I can't get up at 4 a.m. every game.
No,
No.
don't be sorry. It was such a ridiculous decision by FIFA to have a World Cup where it only pleases New Zealand, Australia, China, and Japan.
But they want the Asian market, though. It's a pretty big market.
And it's got a whole
They're
lot
not
of...
filling out stadiums. It's embarrassing for
Yeah,
women's football. We're
but-
supposed to be growing the sport. I'm sorry, you have to do it in North America, South America, or Europe time zone. That's it. Like, this was a mistake, and they better learn
We know
from
with
it.
FIFA, this certain thing called money talks
well-
with them, and that's still a thing. But great chat about footy, guys. Sean McCormick is going to step out. Noor Zainab's going to come in after the break, and we're going to play some Ultimatum role play. We'll be right back with more on the Homestand Show. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Homestand Show. Justin Pooney, Sarah Praria, James Sharma. Now joining the show, Noor Zainab. Noor, how's it going?
Good, thanks. Undisputed. How are you?
Well, I am the undisputed champ of the world and the undisputed host of the Homestand Show.
I that's my fault.
You set that up.
I set that up. That was the layup. That was an alley-oop. That's my fault, ladies and
Speaking
gentlemen.
of setting you up, please make sure to set yourself up to watch Homestand every day on YouTube. Like and subscribe to
There's
our
a
YouTube
veritable Ron
channel.
McClane here, right?
Yeah, that was a good one. Hey, after the mistake yesterday, I'm on fire today. I'm on the ball today. So it is Thursday, so we are gonna do Ultimatum Roleplay, which is back. It's been a recurring segment, one of our most fun segments on the Homestand Show. Sticking with the theme of what we were talking about before the break, women's footy. Christine Sinclair, you are Christine Sinclair. Should you retire from the national team? Let's go, James, Noor, Sarah.
This is so difficult. And if I'm Sinky, I'm having a strong, long conversation with myself, and I'm saying yes. It's time to retire from the national team to prolong my club career, where she's still pretty good. And with Project 8 launching in a couple of years' time, she'll have an ownership stake in that probably. Maybe gets another year playing a little bit.
That's
on
tough,
that league.
yeah.
It's tough, but it's possible. I know she wants to.
Yeah.
And just seeing the way the Canadian team is right now, it's time for a transition to a new beginning, I think. There's some good young players coming through there. Beth Priestman, built the team around Sinky the last couple of years. Hasn't really worked out. She can still do a job, I think, but she's got to start. We remember Sinky as a greatest, all-empowering, all-encompassing GOAT that she was. She's not that anymore. And it's hard to say goodbye sometimes. Very difficult.
It is.
So if I'm Sinky, I am saying, yep, that's it for the Canadian national team, but I've still got a couple of good years left for me club-wise.
I like that. I think it should be her decision. It kind of seems like it has to be to tell Team Canada that, all right, I think it's time for a new chapter for this team. They might not do it themselves. Maybe if she retires, it'll be a wake-up call for them to think that, okay, it's time for the next generation to come up and show us what they've got and build a team around this young squad. And maybe Christine can still be there as part of development, as part of helping out maybe a coaching staff, something like that. But moving forward, I think you can't build this team around someone who's getting older. It's time to just, whenever somebody gets older on a team, it's time to turn out to look at the younger squad. And I think it's time to see what Canada has got and if we have that talent.
Yeah, I'm with James on this one. I think get the heck out of there. We know it's a toxic place right now, and we don't want Sinky to get caught up in that, especially because her legacy is so amazing for Canada for sport in general, especially for women's football. That I think you're 40 years old too. We're not talking about 30. You've done everything. Leave on your terms and on a high note, and then she can potentially extend her club career.
She's probably in the Mount Rushmore of greatest Canadian athletes of all time.
She is the greatest Canadian athlete of all time.
You can make that argument there. It's exactly. Canada Soccer and the Canadian Soccer Association, quite frankly, is a joke.
Yeah.
Right? The way they've been treating these players, the way they just have mismanaged, a golden generation of both women's soccer. Now we're kind of entering into the best level. The women have been holding it down for decades, and now we're finally seeing the men enter into that level where they can compete. We saw them compete at a World Cup level, of course, not to what we expected. But for her, she's been such a great ambassador for sport in this country. Leave on your own terms. Leave on a high note. And just, figure out what the next chapter and what the next challenge is for her. And I think she's put in so much service into this country that she deserves to go out on her terms and the right way. Speaking of own terms and right way, the Edmonton Oilers agreed to terms with Jeff Jackson. Now, again, a lot of you guys don't know who Jeff Jackson is. He used to be a hockey agent, for the likes of guys like Alex DeBrincat, Aaron Ekblad, Connor Brown, and the best player on planet Earth right now, Connor McDavid. So the Oilers basically hired their best player's agent to run their hockey organization. So if you are Jeff Jackson, you are running, the Oilers, or if you're running any team, do you prioritize what's best for the Oilers, or do you kind of, you have a little bit of loyalty to Connor McDavid, you want to do right by him? So if McDavid does ever request a trade, you would honor those wishes.
So he's still the coach and also
no,
still the agent?
He's not his agent anymore, right?
Okay.
He had to give that up, but he's, there's that relationship there. So do you think he, if McDavid ever requests a trade or wants this and that, he'll capitulate to that?
You got to prioritize the team. Sorry, that's your job now. That's that. You've you're no longer his
Yeah.
manager. You can have a nice relationship, but your priority is the team. Simple. That's just.
Because I thought, I'm like, okay, if he's making maybe commission out of it, I might be like, give him more
this is not a
minutes
sales
on the
pitch for
court.
making
Let it be
commission.
an all-star, I might go down that route. But if he's not getting anything out of it, at that point, your success is tied to your team's success, so your team should come first.
Well, Sharma, do you have anything?
No, it's a strange one, right? It's an interesting one. It's not the first time it's happened, of course.
Yeah.
But you're right. Up until now, he's been advising his client how to get as much money as possible
From the Edmonton Oilers. Yeah.
And now, in those negotiations, which he'll be part of as a CEO, he'll be trying to get kind of for a very team-friendly deal.
Exactly.
It's really interesting, actually. I think.
is.
But I think having your top guy and your top player tight is probably a good thing for the organization.
But the one thing I would say is I don't think Connor McDavid is this type of guy, but we see it all the time in the NBA, and we're also starting to see it now in soccer as well, where the star players will go to the front office and be like, give me this guy, give me this guy. We don't see that in the NHL. And I was thinking, okay, well, maybe that's the case now. Connor McDavid now has a great relationship with Jeff Jackson. Of course, he was being represented by him for years. Could this now be the switch into the NHL where we start seeing star players now pull the strings a little bit behind the scenes now? And that's what I
wonder if it's been happening a little bit in certain teams. I mean, I'm sure Austin Matthews has a certain say.
No, I don't think so.
Don't you think? I'm sure
No.
they'll just have a little chat with Austin.
Well, we
about
know Mitch
who they should
Marner's.
bring in.
We know Mitch Marner's dad's got a pretty big say in what goes on with the
apparently.
club, right?
It's interesting though. I think it's fascinating, that one. But
It is.
It's not bad for the Oilers. It's good for Connor McDavid, certainly.
Yes.
And I'm sure Jeff Jackson will do the right thing and do
I'm
his best
gonna
for the team. Otherwise,
say
he won't
this
be there
right
very
now.
long.
Until he gets in trade talks.
I don't know. I
Then
think
what?
I think
Because
the-
I'm
But
thinking
he'll
I'm
know
like-
what's going on in Connor's head now. Like maybe Connor said to him last year, "Listen, I'm got my deal here. Let's give this team 3 or 4 more years, and then I want to move." He knows.
maybe McDavid said, you know what? I'm going to be at Edmonton for the long haul. I want to be here.
Maybe it's
and
that
that's
too.
why Jeff Jackson took the job.
Yeah.
Sarah, we're going to start with you on this one because it's kind of near and dear to your heart. It involves footy and your guy, the GOAT, Tom Brady. Tom Brady is now
Is he your
an
guy?
owner. He
How many
invested.
guys do you got?
I don't.
Messi? I don't.
She just associates
I'm not
herself with the best of the
Yeah,
best.
not too many
The
third,
best.
fourth
Like,
liners.
no comment.
James fan.
Oh, so
Are
you admit-
you crazy? You're insane for that one.
Okay,
That's
well,
wild.
Birmingham City dropped this kind of
Birmingham.
really epic promo video to introduce Tom Brady. So let's check it out.
So here's the deal. I'm officially coming on board at Birmingham City Football Club. And maybe you're asking, what do you know about English football, Tom? Well, let's just say I got a lot to learn. But I do know a few things about winning, and I think they might translate pretty well. I know success starts with the work put in when the world isn't watching. I know that a team is nothing without the city that shows up and stands behind them. Most importantly, I know I like being the underdog. The road's been long for Birmingham, but these fans have never stopped believing. We got a song that says, no matter what, you keep right on to the end of the road. And I'll be on that road with you. I'll see you at St. Andrews soon. It's time to get to work. Let's go.
Producer Elliot in my ears. Isn't St. Andrews a subway station for the TCU? It is. Tom Brady knows how to use social media and get people fired up. That got me fired up. I don't care about Birmingham City FC, but I care now because Tom Brady now owns it. Sarah, you are Tom Brady. Is this a good investment for Tom Brady?
Why not? Get yourself out there. Birmingham, pretty well known. Obviously, we've seen the success with Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney at Wrexham. So I feel like Tom's just like, you know what? They're doing it. Why don't I get involved? I'm retired now. It's not like I have anything else to do. And I think he's just getting his toes wet in like a sport that he's not really familiar with. On the other side of the globe. I honestly
He admitted
think,
that in the video.
If anything, even if this doesn't go over well, he has money. He does know about winning, which we'll give him that. But I think this will be a fun project for him, and at least he's given it, the good old college try.
Yeah.
Good old college try.
He attached his likeness to something, which is what he did here, right? He could have gone and made an underwear line with Calvin Klein, but he said,
He's
no,
got
I'm
his own
gonna
underwear
go,
line.
Okay, maybe another one. I don't know. Maybe one for women this time. I don't know. Maybe he's different. But he's
He
like,
left Giselle though, so
if you
he's going
see,
out with
he's-
Irina
He's
Shayk.
doing
Shayk,
it.
yeah,
He's
we
doing
know
it
those
right
ex.
now.
So
Yeah,
Bradley's
he's got
good
the-
for his ex
he's
as
got the
well.
model there.
Yeah, he spent some time
She
with
dated
Kim
Bradley
Kardashian
Cooper
too.
as well.
She's big.
She's done well for herself.
She's
she's
done
done well.
very well for
She has
herself.
standards and respect. You met them, fantastic,
Yeah.
and now she's got Tom Brady. But if I'm him, yeah, you're making investments. You're signing yourself up to make sure your money is being handled properly in the right spots where you can grow. And then again, you attach your public image to a team like Birmingham, where they're gonna grow alone, but they're gonna grow next to him as well because it's Tom Brady, and that's just a win-win.
We talked about it yesterday about personal brands. He's doing exactly that.
Yeah, when he says it's time to get to work, like he's not spending more than one day in Birmingham. Trust me. Like, at
Would
least
you
at least-
want to?
That was the most work he did, sending that tweet.
Actually, my mum was
Yeah.
born in Birmingham. Actually, My
Yeah.
mother was, yeah.
Yeah.
Aston, actually, part of Aston Villa. She's born that part of
Okay.
Birmingham.
Villa Park.
Birmingham's a big club, right?
Yeah.
Don't forget that. They're a really big club that should probably be in the Premier League. They've got a big enough fan base. Mismanagement in recent years, but they got bought by an American hedge fund operator, I think back in May, and now it's been rebranded as Shelby Companies. Now, if you watch Peaky Blinders, you know about Thomas Shelby. Right, there's the connection there from Birmingham, right?
Ooh, it's top of the morning to you.
Oh my
That's
god.
Irish. That'd be
That's
Irish.
Irish. That's just-
It's a good
whenever
try, though.
Noor does an accent, just pay no attention to it because it's always
It's all
a
a
mixture
blur.
of
Top of
like
the morning
a whole,
to you. That's not.
it's a whole bunch of different stuff.
But,
It's all
But yeah, it's all about brand, right?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
smart. They're smart. He'll get some play around the globe because it's Tom Brady, and maybe get some more investors into that club.
Yeah.
Gary Cook now runs it. Gary Cook of Man City did a great job there, getting that team to where it is now. So I think it's a really smart move on both parts.
Look,
Yeah,
TB12 is
100%.
building a good portfolio right now. He's got, of course, Birmingham City, the Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Aces. He's all part of the
Like,
ownership
look at
group of.
Beckham. He just brought over Messi. Tom Brady could
to
bring
Miami.
somebody else over there
Exactly.
too.
You
So-
never know. Now, enough speaking of greatness, we've got two other goats now. The segues here are just
Speaking of the
the
segues,
segues are just
Segue.
flowing today. It's just
Okay.
flowing today. Okay.
Okay.
So you are you. Okay. You are you right now.
Ooh, do I have to be?
Yeah, you have to be. You have to be you right now. Would you rather go one-on-one with Tiger Woods on the golf course, or one-on-one with LeBron James
On the golf course.
on the basketball court?
okay.
On the basketball court.
Of course.
Who wants to go first? Let's go. No, you start first.
Ooh, that's a good one. I came up with that one. But which one I will? I think I will not be able to keep up with LeBron's stature. Like, there's no way.
He's a
That's a
bit bigger
body
than you.
versus, yeah, maybe a little bit, tad bit.
Legs
He's got a
like
couple
a-
inches on me there. So I think that body to body is not going to work out. And you know what? Maybe Tiger was having a bad day.
You think
never
you could
know.
take Tiger Woods in golf?
Well, right now maybe. He
Yeah.
can barely walk.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Hey, but he can
And
stay.
hey, what if I just grab two girls, bring him with me for distraction? He's never gonna know. I have his swing. It's all good. It's all fine. These jokes will never die. He did this to himself. Yeah.
What are you saying, Sarah?
Oh, Tiger Woods, absolutely.
Wait, you
The
didn't even answer the question. Which one
I
did
did.
you?
I said
Oh,
Tiger Woods.
Oh, Tiger.
I just said I bring girls.
It's the athleticism of LeBron James for me.
Yeah.
And it's not that Tiger Woods isn't the best at what he did, but we spoke about this. Remember me, you, and Albert, James? Golf has some luck to it. If the wind's blowing one way, LeBron James is going to be dunking on. I'm not even going to. He's going to be
Yeah,
on
but
one
Tiger's
end.
hitting the ball
I'm gonna be
340
running. He's
yards.
going to be this way. I'm going to be going. No, but it's the athleticism of LeBron James. He's triple my size. His legs. I mean, his arms are the size of my legs. Like that's already just so intimidating. Tiger Woods gonna beat me. Guess what? For sure. But it won't be as like
Defeating.
horrific.
But this
Yeah.
wasn't about like who would you have more chance to beat. It's just
What would you rather do?
experiencing rather do, right?
Oh wait, I thought. Wait, what? No, you.
Noor took it
I did
as
make
the way
the
to
question.
beat.
I did mean who you think would have the best chance to
Oh,
Yeah,
win.
she made the question.
Or even
Beat.
or
no,
Okay.
she made the question, so that's
Yeah.
how it has to be.
Well, I have more
No.
chance of beating Tiger, but there's no chance of beating Tiger. I would rather be on the court with LeBron though. I don't think you can really fully appreciate LeBron James unless you're actually on the court,
like-
face to face, and just seeing it
Face
not,
to
not,
face.
Not just
Face to face.
well,
Oh,
arse
face
cheek
to
me.
like.
Or at least I mean, just seeing his pure athleticism, his size, the way a guy that big, the way he moves is incredible. And I think just to see that like firsthand and just be like, wow, respect.
I will
Tiger
say,
golf,
yeah.
golf, is it really a sport?
Whoa.
Facts.
Hold the
Facts.
phone. Albert Vartani is on the next flight back to
that for-
Toronto to
yeah,
kick
no.
his door down to yell at James
No, but
Sharman.
it's true. If the question was like, what would you have more fun doing or experience? Yeah, it's LeBron
Basketball,
on the
yeah.
court. But if the question was, if in some way you had the slightest chance of winning, it would be Tiger Woods.
I don't know. Tiger's one of the ultimate competitors.
So what? You think you can take a LeBron on a basketball court?
I can't take any of these guys. Both these guys. But both these guys share a birthday as well, Right?
Really?
Yeah, they share the
Relevant,
same birthday.
crazy.
Right? There you go. That's knowledge right
Content,
there.
you guys.
That's knowledge right there.
Research.
But I'm going to golf with
Analysis.
Tiger Woods because, like you mentioned, greatness. Seeing the greatest golfer alive and to see him play.
You wouldn't choose LeBron.
That's
wild.
crazy,
What,
right?
LeBron?
You
You're
guys know I love. I'm not a
You're
phony.
a phony.
I'm not a phony. I just want to be around. Look, LeBron is LeBron, yes, but just to see Tiger Woods play golf,
But I
and
do
be
agree
on the
with-
course with him. And also, here's the thing too, right? Tiger's kicking my ass and beating me up. I give you, hey Tiger, give me some tips. What should I do here? And then I can implement that in my game. And then I could not be the next Tiger Woods, but I could be the Tiger Woods of my friend group. And then I could say, but also, what do you get? What do
Went
you
down a
get?
weird spiral.
What do you think you get more bragging rights with among people playing golf
LeBron.
around?
LeBron for
you
sure.
kidding?
There's
I don't know.
not even a
'Cause
question.
when
Playing
James-
around a golf with Tiger Woods is pretty
When James
sick.
mentioned, like, imagine the stature of LeBron in front of you. Okay, think about it, right? You have Tiger Woods next to you. No offense, greatest, golfer of all time, but he looks pretty average, like an average person.
Yeah.
You
No,
walk
Tiger's a
next to him,
freak
actually-
athlete.
No, but
He
he's
doesn't
like a
look like a
normal,
freak
yeah.
Standing up beside
Because he's
Tiger,
not 6'8" though.
That's the
That's the
whole
point.
point of the conversation.
Tiger Woods made golf a sport. He became he was an
he
athlete
didn't.
playing golf.
But what
He
I'm
was an
saying
athlete
is,
playing
oh
golf.
my goodness, no, what I'm saying is the outworld experience you'll get is with LeBron because LeBron looks outwardly. You're next to a guy like
Tiger
that.
Woods is
who's-
outworldly. He's the
No,
greatest.
okay, but like when you get to see them perform, right? Like Tiger Woods still looks like one of us.
I'm saying this 'cause I've seen LeBron play.
But
I've
LeBron
seen.
could be, you know what I mean? Like Tiger Woods could be an accountant, but LeBron is like LeBron. That's
Yeah.
you see that
Okay,
person
but that's
in
just
action. It's
because
like
LeBron's
whoa.
6'8",
But that's what I'm
260.
saying. That's the whole
Justin, that's
point.
the whole
Okay,
point.
I saw
You
the- okay.
can't.
I saw LeBron play live one time in my life, and it was a bucket list moment for me. I literally fangirled the whole time I saw LeBron play. Another thing on my bucket list was to see Tiger Woods play at Augusta live and around, right? To see the greatest golfer, a guy who just was so dominant, transcended sport, made that sport mainstream. To play one round with Tiger Woods would be priceless.
The thing is, this is a subjective personal choice, right? We shouldn't be arguing.
That's
Right,
where's
that's
the fun
fair.
in that? We want to
You're-
argue.
You're allowed that incorrect point of view.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the one.
You know what?
I can't.
I would rather-
There's no point of arguing with
If
him. He
you're
just
an
gets
NBA fan, you're a
louder.
golf-
Okay.
He
I
gets-
just think just the ability to really see up front, up close and
That's my argument
personal.
for Tiger Woods.
I saw,
How
yeah.
I see Tiger's swing from 5 feet away. It's made what a great swing, incredible. Yes, but doesn't come close to seeing LeBron do what he's doing around me and
I've
freaking
seen
launching through the air and just
I
smashing.
saw
a
Scotty
bucket.
Barnes in person last
Are
year.
you comparing
No,
Scotty
can I
Barnes
just-
to
can I-
LeBron and Tiger
May
Woods?
I finish my sentence?
Go
Holy
ahead.
moly. I saw Scotty Barnes in person, okay? Obviously nothing compared to LeBron James, but an NBA player who's that tall, who's naturally
Yeah,
built to
freak
be
athletes
that
then.
crazy. You look at him on TV and you're like, okay, yes, he's tall, but when you see that in person, 5 feet away from you, not in the 300 level, you're like, wow, this is a freak of nature.
I was at a
They're
party
built.
once and Shaq walked in.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
And I saw him walk through the door and walk through this crowd of people, and he's like up like so much bigger than everyone else there, and this wave of people just kind of parted this sea of people. I'm like, holy crap, that's not a human.
That's
Yeah,
Shaq.
they
Look at it,
know.
it's such a presence.
Where
Yeah.
were
In the
you
room.
hanging, James? that
I
you
was
saw
cool back in
Shaq?
the day.
Oh,
There's
You don't have that,
well
do you have that
done.
pull anymore? Can we get Shaq on the Homestand show, please?
yeah, you got connects.
Questions I gotta ask.
He's
I know
out-
a
he's
guy.
at
Shaq
Tomorrowland.
lived with Alex McKechnie, who is a Raptors.
The Raptors guy, yeah.
Right. When
100%.
Alec was still working in soccer,
Yeah.
actually, he was getting really well known in the basketball world, and Shaq lived with him for a summer
Crazy.
to fix a sports hernia.
Oh wow, I did
Alex-
not know that about
further
that's
further
yeah.
proof as to why Alex McKechnie is one of the greatest, if not the
You
greatest.
gotta come on the NBA pods
Mr.
now.
Load Management.
Mr.
Yeah,
Load
Mr.
Man-
Load
yes,
Management.
yes.
knows ball.
Speaking of greatness,
No.
guys, we got another great GOAT talk conversation now.
Speaking of great.
The one, the only, Mr. Aubrey Graham Drake.
I hate myself.
So this one is definitely a Noor Zainab question here because she hates on Drake so much for whatever reason. Would you rather? So you
a
are
lot of
you
reasons.
again. You are you again. Drake loses Canadian citizenship, or the Raptors lose their 2019 championship banner.
Drake,
It's a
you're
race.
gone.
That
Drake,
can't
you're
be a
gone.
question,
You're
can it?
gone.
But you
you're
know-
gone. What?
You asked Justin that?
You
Are you asking me that question?
Why does it matter if Drake's Canadian or not? The Raptors won a champ. You know how big that is for Canadian sport?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay.
But I'm saying, but there's a one rebuttal is how many people do you think in the States associate the Toronto Raptors with Drake?
Not many.
I'm sure there's a lot of them.
I
A
don't
lot
really,
of
but that doesn't affect me
I'm not saying
or what the
that. Yes.
Raptors did. If they want to be foolish and think like that, that's totally fine. But we're talking about the only Canadian basketball team that won, and like they beat the freaking Steph Curry and Golden State like that was such an amazing series. Like that was one of like those memories
Cried.
we will
Okay,
have.
what was that better, the 2019 championship or Messi scoring 2 goals last night? What was better?
No, come on, the
The
championship.
Messi 2 goals,
But
right?
you're also
No,
talking
the
about a man's
championship.
identity here. This is a man who's proudly Canadian.
He
You're going
is.
to tear that from him for a little ring?
Absolutely,
Terrible.
James.
So James, you're
You're
saying Drake
such
keeps,
a-
Drake
No, you're absolutely
James is
100%.
Drake keeps his Canadian citizenship.
I'm James Sharman today.
Look, again, I love Drake. I'm one of Drake's biggest fans. But that 2019 banners.
You
that's
did
a
have
piece
a
of-
different answer last time, but
No,
okay,
but the question
I'll
was
let it
phrased
slide.
differently.
No, it wasn't.
No, you
But
just
okay.
you clipped that part of that
All right,
video
let's just
and
go
you
to the
used it
next
for
one.
a clickbait to try to get people to get mad at me, as is normally the case. But nobody's gonna get mad at me for my answer right there. Now, entertainment-wise, sticking with the entertainment stuff. Taylor Swift announced today 6 shows in Toronto at the Rogers Centre.
6.
So all the Swifties out there are rejoicing, partying. I heard there's a lineup already. I was at the ticket office at the Rogers Centre. People lining up. I actually checked StubHub before we went live today on the show. I don't know how people have tickets already, but they're already going for like $2,000 in the 500 level right now. So that got me to ask: $2,000 to watch Taylor Swift once, or $2,000 to party with Dennis Rodman and get bottle service in Vegas?
That one. You're promised a good
Very-
time.
Come on.
Look at your
You
That'd be
know
audience.
so
you're
much
gonna
fun.
have a weird, freaky time, and it's gonna be the best. It's gonna be a night to remember, and you'll never speak of it again.
I'll just be speaking about his daughter who plays for the US team at the Women's World Cup.
That's what you-
That's
yeah?
why, do some research
Yeah,
and get really drunk on vodka.
yeah.
Like, get some good
For
vodka.
2,000 USD, by the way, not even Canadian. That's
Yeah,
USD in Vegas.
And by the way, we're partying in
She
Vegas.
has 6 shows just in Toronto.
in
Like
November.
back to back
yeah.
to back, Jacks, or what?
Something
like
that,
just
yeah.
Monday to Saturday
And
every
guys,
night.
Whole week of
the
Swifties.
capacity
Residents.
is 350,000
Yeah, I
for
think it was
each
60
show.
No. In total.
350.
In
So
total.
where are they? Does she have
6
shows?
6 shows. There's not gonna be.
Are
There's
there
nowhere
show-
gonna fit 350,000
No,
people
but
in
she's
the
still
Rogers
done
Centre.
arenas, like stadiums.
Yes, but the Rogers Centre is at what capacity? What, 60,000?
Wait,
for
she's
live
doing
show,
it at the
I'm not
Rogers
sure.
Centre,
Yeah,
not
so
even the.
times that by 6, be like 360,000 people that are probably gonna pull up.
Are they doing? Is she doing a show in like Montreal or New York? Is she doing 6 because they're assuming that like the other major cities are gonna come
that's
in?
right. So I don't think she's doing probably. I bet you people from Buffalo or wherever these smaller
Jeez.
U.S. cities that couldn't get a date will go
crazy.
there.
Didn't our Prime Minister tweet out a
Yes.
plea for her to play
Yes,
some
he did.
Canadian dates?
James,
and
that's
now
really
he's available.
gossipy.
He is
So
available. Yes,
There's something there, I think.
we're not gonna
Ooh,
dive.
gossipy?
It's a little gossipy, but I was thinking the same thing. I was like, well, he just sent out a tweet
He didn't- no, he
saying
didn't
he
get the
wanted her
re-
there,
yeah.
and then a couple days later they did separate, and then now
And now
she's
suddenly
coming,
she's coming here.
and she's doing 6 whole shows. So she's
guys
staying
are
here for a while.
horrendous.
That's
He's
well,
horrendous.
yeah.
Poor old Sophie.
Poor Sophie. She just never wanted to see the F Trudeau signs anymore. And he
Damn.
said, no, we're gonna stay.
Well, I
Yeah.
think maybe Taylor's got one of those signs now. It means something very
Yeah,
different.
well, I
Maybe
guess
she has them at her
he-
shows.
I wonder how he feels.
What if she
you
brings
know?
them out?
He's separating. One day he's
You
separating
need
from
to
his
be
wife.
detained, James.
No, I wonder
Today
how
it's
I
too
wonder how
much.
he feels though. One day he separates from his wife, but then Taylor Swift saw his plea and dropped 6 shows in the country.
Yeah,
So maybe
makes-
he feels a little bit better today.
maybe.
Or maybe he
Tough.
feels a lot better now because he got 2 things that he wanted to. Well, we'll see.
Who knows?
Who knows?
tough
That's
times.
enough for the entertainment show on the home. No, I'm kidding. That's enough for the Homestand show today. Thank you for all your support. Please make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all of our social medias. For James Sharman, Noor Zainab, Sarah Praria, Sean McCormick, I've been Justin Pooney, and we will see you guys tomorrow.